Hi, and let me introduce you to the Polivox. My name is Fodor Synthman, and this is the recreation, should I say better, of the original Polivox that everybody know was made in 1980s and was famously used in Doom game and in a lot of projects through the music industry time. It gained its popularity because it's very aggressive filter, really aggressive sounding and punchy. But the trouble with the original Polivoxes was that they, because of the time and a lot of other issues, they broke. And if you don't have a proper service engineer to help you with it, then it will be quite hard. So it's also an advice: if you want to buy the original one, you need to make sure that it was properly restored. So what's with this thing? This is a creation of two people. This Alex Plenger and Alexei Taber. So who are these guys? Some of you might know them. Alex Plenger is known for the Kin Association, booklet format modules, and Alexei Taber is very well known inside of Russia for synth repair and updating synth, especially Soviet synths. So these are the guys that built this thing, and I was fortunate enough also to have the original Polivox creator, Kuzmin, who was in the showroom, and he was testing this thing out. So, and he approved it. And the idea behind this synthesizer was to build modern day Polivox using the reliable components, some of the Soviet components that were reliable, and outsource the other components that were really, pardon my French, shit components in Soviet times. So this is a testament to this amazing instrument with the build quality of the modern day synthesizer, and a good one. So we have actually, the first thing you notice, right, is the size. It's really small comparing to the original one. Original one was, I think, like this big. And of course you have a keyboard, and it was huge, and it was really hard to take it somewhere. This thing is much more portable, and you have a lot of features. So what did they do here? Well, first of all, they increased the modulation time, the modulation frequency. If you kind of look at the modulation, so basically it can go to the audio rate, which is really impressive. They added some waveforms as well. Also, they added a ring modulator, which dramatically increases the overall performance of the synthesizer. Let's check this out. Let's put modulation down. Put up the second generator. So this thing sounds absolutely massive, and it also has two voices, so you can play with two notes. They also added a really great features for the control of the synthesizer. So you have the control for frequency, you have control for the VCA, you have control for the envelope generator start, you have a control for the VCO of the first generator and the second generator, meaning VCO, and you have the control, you can frequency control the modulator, which is basically the LFO. So the panel is made in Russian, but it is so easy to understand, and there is a vocabulary on the back of the synthesizer, and we have of course a layout panel, so it will be easier for you to get around. But if you're familiar with the synthesis, there will be nothing hard with it. So let me briefly guide you through it. So here we have LFO section. Alpha can be routed to the oscillator 1 and to the oscillator 2. Alpha can be also routed to the filter, and alpha can be also routed to the VCA. So you have a lot of modulation. You can modulate the global pitch. Also, you have the waveforms, which are your standard waveforms with added noise and added sample and hold. And of course, as I said, the basic advantage for the new Polivox and with the old Polivox is that the new one has absolutely crazy audio rate modulation. Which is a good thing always. So also you have on the old Polivox there was a table over here, and they replaced it with the input, like with the MOOC you can process output into the input, and when you don't have anything plugged inside, so basically you are just processing itself inside, so creating sort of an overdrive. But you can, as soon as the jack plugged in inside, you can process any audio, which is also cool. You have pulse width modulation over here, and it is for the second generator. We pick the waveform. There you have it. This section is a global parameters. So you have the modulation, or pitch modulation, the global pitch adjustment. You choose either one voice or two voice. You choose glissando or glide, and there's your volume output. So with the generator, it's quite simple. You have the generators or the volume of generators is controlled here. So you have your typical choice of waveforms. And also, which is a good thing, you can process the second oscillator through the first one, modulate the first one with the second. Also, you can add LFO to this. For the second oscillator, it's quite similar. You have also the register. You can choose. You can add modulation, and you can pulse width modulate it. And because of the added waveform and increased frequency, you can really modulate it very hard. So what else? Here you have a detune of the second oscillator, so we turn off the modulation. And we add the second one. Here we go. Now the greatest part of the Polivox and all the Polivoxes is of course the filter. So the filter is classic, and it's interesting actually what they made. It was also an original. You can loop the filter as well as you can loop the VCA. You see, I don't use a keyboard because I can actually have this VCA turned on permanently, and I can also loop the envelope generator for the filter, making it quite useful and interesting. So let's go briefly. It's attack, decay, sustain, release. It's a cutoff, it's a resonance, and the greatest part of it, you have a low pass filter in a lower position and band pass filter. You have a modulation that is routed from here. And you have an envelope depth. So basically, if I have two running envelope generators in a loop, you basically have two sort of LFOs, like in the search and booklet system, like West Coast synthesizers. And let's check this out. So you can have different tempos. Yeah, you can play with it forever. So this is an amazing synthesizer that is built to the highest modern standards. And let's finish it up with the VCA. So you have ADSR, you have a looping section, and you have a modulation from here. So basically what you have is an original Polivox made from reliable original components, and the components that weren't reliable were replaced by the new ones that didn't really affect the sound. I would say that it improved the sound. They added ring modulator, they added increased frequency, they added pulse width modulation capabilities, routing features, and CV modulation. Basically, you have a modern day synthesizer that is really beefy, and it will be, I think, within some time it will be a collector's item because only 100 pieces were made, and there's not a plan to produce more because it's over. The project was quite hard to do, and the parties parted after that. So now it's only what's left is left, and they finished the last batch, and soon it will be available for sale, the other one. So this is it. This is the story of the Polivox, and I wish you enjoyed it. And if you did, please contact me. I will be gladly help to purchase this synthesizer, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. And don't forget that we have a layout for the whole panel, of course, so you can modulate and play without any problems. Thank you very much.